Hey guys, Mr. Decker here. This is lesson 22 of the Express course, and this one is titled For Loops with B. Our computer science standards for this lesson are creating programs that use variables and store and modify data, and decomposing or breaking down problems into smaller, manageable subproblems to facilitate the program development process. Our essential question for this lesson is, how is a for loop different from a repeat loop? Well, as we work our way through this lesson, we're going to figure that out. Now, in the event that you can't hear the YouTube video that's embedded on Bubble 4 in this, then you can always click this link and it'll take you directly to that video on YouTube. So, no worries there. You've got that link ready for you, all set to go. So, without further ado, let's get started, shall we? All right. So, right over on Bubble 1 of code.org, lesson 22, for loops with B. And if you don't remember this navigation, I'm going to help you out right now. So, back on the dashboard where you see the common stuff after getting yourself logged in, on my teacher version of the dashboard, I can see all the classes that I am teaching. You will be able to scroll down to the very bottom, which is where I think you would see Express Course 8th grade down there. And then scrolling down here to find lesson 22, for loops with B. All right. So it says on bubble 1, collect the nectar from each flower using the fewest blocks possible. So let's go for it. So it looks like, from what I can see, I need to get the bee from here to here, and I want him to collect nectar from each flower as he goes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So oops, repeat, math, 4 times or 5 times, my bad. And I'm gonna have him move forward and get nectar. Let's see. All right, that works. So moving forward here to bubble 2. Looks like we're doing basically the same thing again. Let's see. Write the code to help the bee collect all of the nectar. You will need lots of blocks for this challenge, but we'll learn an easier way in the next puzzle. Okay, let's see. How do we want to do this one? Let me think on it for a sec. All right, so because there are multiple, see on the last bubble, there was one nectar to collect at each flower. This time that number goes up by 1 every time. So we are going to first move forward. Just a second here. Okay, there's the wind run. I was like, where did that go? Okay. Move forward. And then he's going to get nectar. Let's see. And then he needs to move forward again. And then he's going to get nectar twice at the second spot here. So 2 get nectars. And then he needs to move forward to the third one. We're trying to do this in 18 blocks or less. Make sure that I keep track of how many blocks I'm using. Now loops, repeat. We're going to repeat 3 times. Whoop, got to type in there. There's my 3. And we're going to get nectar. All right, let's just run what we have so far and make sure it's working. Oh, why not? Oh, I forgot to move forward again. That was my problem. There we go. Reset run. There we go. And then I'm going to have to move forward again to get to this fourth one. And then just like we did with the third one, but making this a 4 this time. Whoops, not a 0, a 4. There we go. Actions, get Nectar, test it. While that's working, okay, then we move forward to the fifth block, and then loops, repeat, math 5 times, and then we're going to get Nectar again. And that should do it, and that's 18 of 18 blocks. Good. All right, excellent. Continue. And right here it says, in this lesson, today you'll be learning about a new kind of repeat loop. Here is a preview of the block you'll be using. It says for counter from 4 to 10, count by 2. The counter, this is the variable that keeps track of the number that count controls the loop. The starting value, this is the value the counter starts with. So you start here. So here's where you're basically naming your variable. Here's where you tell your variable what you want it to start at, what the starting value is. Then the stopping value, this is the value with the counter ends with when the loop stops. So when you want the program to stop running is when it gets to that number. And then count by 2. This is the step value. This is the amount added to the counter each time the loop runs. So every time it runs whatever code would be inside this, it will run it the first time. It'll do a loop of 4 on the first run. And then because you're counting by 2, you'll add 2 to it on the second run. So it'll do a loop of 6 times on the second run, 8 times on the third run, and 10 times on the fourth run. So the fourth run is going to be the last run for that. All right. Fortunately, this new loop will make solving puzzles like this really easy. And so back to bubble 2, this is a really good puzzle, right? That we could solve using that counter pattern with the for loop. Let's go to bubble 4 and let's watch this video. All right. Good explanation. I always really like these videos that Code.org makes. All right. Bubble 5. The use of for loops makes this puzzle a lot easier. Read the code below. What will happen when you click run? Okay. So right now our run button is grayed out. We can't click it. Oh no. Because we haven't answered yet. All right. So let's look at the code. For counter from 1 to 4, count by 1. So it will end at 4, start at 1, and then it'll add 1 each time it runs. So it will run this 4 times. So let's see. It'll move forward. So move forward, repeat the counter times. So once on the first loop, get Nectar. And then it'll zoop back up to the top. It'll add that 1 to the counter. So it'll move forward, repeat twice here, this time on the second run, and it'll get Nectar twice right there. It'll zoop back up to the top, add 1 to this number again, which makes it a 3 on the third run. Move forward, repeat 3 times, get Nectar. So right here, it'll get Nectar 3 times, and then run back up to the top. It'll run the counter 4 times on the last run, move forward, repeat 4 times, get Nectar 4 times, and then it will end the program. Um, let's see. The bee will move forward and collect the nectar from every flower. The bee will move forward and collect all of the nectar from every flower except one. The bee will move forward and collect one nectar from each flower. Or D, I don't know. Well, based on what we read from the program, I believe it's going to do this, where the bee will move forward and collect all of the nectar from every flower except one. That one that it doesn't get will be this last one because we only ran this 4 times. Yep. All right. Level 6. Okay. So that for loop is going to be inside the loops drawer in the toolbox. Help the bee collect all of the nectar. All right. So let's see. So the first thing we need to do, I think, is set up our counter variable as a for loop. So we'll grab that here, and we're going to run this 7 times because there are 7 flowers, and it goes up by 1 each time. So we'll leave it at adding 1 to it. And let's see. First thing the bee needs to do is move forward. And then we need a regular repeat loop in here. And we're going to use our counter variable, right? Counter variable is called up or applied here and called here. And then we're going to tell it to get nectar. So it'll run that 7 times, and each time it runs it, it will increase by 1. Let's run it. All right, that got it. Let's continue. Okay, on bubble 7, it says you can also use a for loop to count down. Try gathering this nectar by counting down from 5 to 1 by 1. Okay, so let's grab our for loop. We're going to count from 5 to 1 by 1. So it should count down each time I'm thinking. And per usual, B needs to move forward first and then repeat counter times, calling that variable. And we're going to get nectar. Let's see if that works. That's pretty cool. All right. That's bubble 7. Let's go to bubble 8. All right, on bubble 8. Okay, we're counting by 2 this time. So just basic math. Oops, oops. If I can click on the correct thing, we'll go 1 to 7, counting by twos. So 1, 3, 5, 7, just like that. And then first thing, move forward, and then a loop, counter, do, get nectar. So the only thing that's different here, we're counting up and counting up by 2. All right, continue. Oh, I always despise these zigzag patterns. All right, you've got this. What should your increment be to collect 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15 nectar? Well, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So let's, whoops, whoops, 4 counter. We're going to start at 3 this time and go to 15, adding 3 each time. And we're going to move forward. And we're going to turn right and then move forward again. Um, let's see where that. Hold on. Move forward. That gets us here. Then we need to turn left to face this block. Okay. Then we can put in our loop. Repeat. Counter times. Whoops. Put nectar in there. Let's see. Math. Oh, wait. Nope. Variables. I'm forgetting where I am. Counter. Repeat counter times. So it should do that correctly. Let's see. All right. Sweet. Not too bad. All right. Bubble 10. Okay. So this time, 1, 2, and 3. So loops, 4 counter. 1 to 3. Count by 1. We'll leave it at that. 1, 2, 3. But this one's unique because there are gaps here. Hmm. I wonder if I use a repeat counter to move forward, if that would work. 'Cause that way, each time it runs the bee will move forward an extra time. So it'll move forward once, get the nectar, move forward twice, get the nectar, move forward 3 times. Yeah, I think that should work. That makes sense in my head anyway. Variables, counter, and we're going to get nectar in this one. So we've got 2 repeat loops here, and they're both relying on this counter pattern that we set up here. Perfect. All right, bubble 11. All right, getting more and more complicated here. Let's think about this one for a sec before we jump in. Let's see. All right, first thing, she needs to turn left. So let's set up our counter pattern. Oops. Our for loop here, for counter from 3. And we're counting up by threes to 15. Right? So the first thing is to turn left, and then we'll grab a repeat counter times variables counter, move forward. So it'll move forward once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Okay. Oh, you know what? That's not going to work. I need to change this to a 1. Let's make sure it just runs that pattern. Oh, well, it doesn't even want to let me test it. And we're going to have to do some math in the next one. So repeat variables. Where's it going to be? Math. Here we go. Repeat times. Yeah, because we got this 1. We're going to multiply by 3. So 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 3 is 12. 5 times 3 is 15. That should do it. First, I need to go to my variables, counter. Oh, whoops. There you go. And then get Nectar. Run. Oh, whoops. I forgot to turn right somewhere in there. Where should I turn right? Or turn left again, perhaps. Hmm. Turn left. Repeat counter times. What did I mess up? Oh, I see. Because it's relying on, I see. This needs to be a 1 and this needs to be a 5. Because now we're just counting, the big loop is counting the spaces that it's moving. I gotcha. There we go. All right, bubble 12. But this one's the challenge. Yep. Okay, challenge puzzles are lessons designed to stretch your brain. I'm ready. Okay, let's see. So, 14 to 10 to 6 to 2. So we're subtracting by 4 each time. All right, so let's go ahead and set up our for loop. And we're going to start with 14. We're going to 2. We're counting down by 4. So the first thing the bee needs to do is turn right. And then we need to move forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Hmm. Moving forward 7 times. How are we going to accomplish this? Let's see. Do, 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 do. Hmm. Let's say plus, because we're counting down. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So loop, repeat. We're gonna have to do some math. Variables, counter, not times, but maybe plus. Um, what number? 2, maybe? 6. because the number is going to go down each time by 4. Divide by 2? Yeah, okay. So if we divide this number by 2 each time, that gets us to 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Since we start with 14, dividing that counter by 2 gets that one. Then it's subtracted by 4 to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that is it. That's going to do it. So we're going to move forward in that one. And then our next loop is going to be counter, whoops, counter, actions, get nectar. I think that'll work. Awesome. That was a little challenging. Okay, continue. Bubble 13. Okay, one of these again. All right. If your loop is counting down, the increment is subtracted from your counter variable each time through. What should your increment be to collect 15, then 12? It'll be 3. So but we're subtracting. So we'll start with 15, end with 3. And in increments of 3. Thing to do is turn left, then move forward, then turn right, then move forward. And then we're going to repeat counter times get nectar. That should run it. All right. You just learned for loops. For loops are loops where you set the start, stop, and step values. This new kind of repeat loop gives you more control over when your loop starts, when it ends, and what your loop should increase by every time it runs. More control means you can solve puzzles a lot faster. Vocab to know: the for loop. A for loop is a loop that has a predetermined beginning, end, and increment or step interval. Very cool. All right, that's all of that lesson. Now, if you want to do any challenges, you can. Don't forget to go back to the Canvas page for this assignment and answer that essential question in the text box. Again, if you weren't able to hear the video, then you can click on this. It'll take you to the video on YouTube. All right. That's everything, guys. I hope you enjoyed this lesson as much as I did.